How's it going, everyone? Chris here, and welcome back to another Super Smash Bros. Ultimate Countdown video. We only have 39 days left until the game's release on December 7th, and today we are going to be talking about even more evidence supporting the Grinch leak, also known as the banner leak. As always, and I cannot stress this enough, we have no idea if this evidence proves anything, so make sure you take it with a grain of salt and realize that I'm talking about this just for fun. If you'd like to read along while I talk, you can find a link to all of the original posts in the description bar down below, and now with all that out of the way, let's start taking a look at the evidence. So the first piece of evidence that I wanted to take a look at comes from one of my followers on Twitter named InMoon. So what they say is, so I dug around some legal sites and can confirm the trademarks from Nintendo for the Grinch leak. It may not be anything big, but I got it. So as we can see on screen right now, first of all, we see that Nintendo did in fact copyright and trademark the Rhythm Heaven franchise. After that, they trademarked Mach Rider. After that, they trademarked Golden Sun. And finally, as we already knew, they trademarked Banjo-Kazooie. Now, this is interesting in a lot of different ways. First of all, every single game that they trademarked have characters that are supposedly going to be joining the Smash Bros. Roster. From the Rhythm Heaven franchise, we're getting the Chorus Kids. From Mach Rider, we're getting Mach Rider. From Golden Sun, we're getting Isaac. And from Banjo-Kazooie, we're getting Banjo-Kazooie. Now, for those of you that don't know that much about trademarks and the purpose of them, I'm sure you guys are thinking that right now that isn't a big deal at all, and it probably doesn't matter. However, it is actually a really big deal. First, let's talk about the 3 Nintendo franchises that they trademarked. So first of all, in terms of the games, we have Rhythm Heaven, Mach Rider, and Golden Sun. As of the time of me filming this video, there is no evidence of any of these franchises getting another game. Now, they could end up making a new Golden Sun or Rhythm Heaven or Mach Rider and putting it on the Switch, but honestly, the only reason they trademarked them at this time is probably because they're about to announce them in Super Smash Bros. The one that's especially interesting is the Banjo-Kazooie trademark. If you guys didn't know, Banjo-Kazooie is owned by a company called Rare. Rare is also the company that developed King K. Rool, just as a little fun fact, and the reason this is so big is because Rare is actually currently owned by Microsoft, which means the reason that Nintendo currently trademarked Banjo-Kazooie is because they either want to sell merchandise, make a new game, which would most likely be on the N64 Classic, or put them in Super Smash Bros. So as you guys can see, trademarking games and characters is actually a huge deal. The next piece of evidence I want to take a look at actually comes in the form of the mural itself. Now, while this doesn't prove that the mural is real, it actually gives more credence to the fact that Skull Kid is actually on the banner. So as we can see in this picture, I want to give a special shout out to Paul for sending this in to me on Twitter, but as we can see, we see Skull Kid under Mach Rider, and to the right of him, if you guys can make that out, in these circled areas, there are 2 fairies. There's one purple one, and one yellowish and white one. Those 2 fairies are actually Tattle and Tail, and those 2 are from Majora's Mask, and those are the fairies that travel around with Skull Kid. Now, the picture is extremely blurry, and we have no way of telling if these are something else, but given the fact that a lot of people are believing that this is Skull Kid sitting there, it only makes sense for him to have both of his traveling companions, Tattle and Teal, hang out with him while he's on the battlefield in Smash Ultimate. So the next piece of evidence that I want to take a look at comes from a user on Reddit named Oprah. What they say is, there was this cut/poorly cropped image of Olimar and Little Mac on the site in September. As seen here, this badly cropped spot where Mac's right hand glove is at, you can see Isaac's in that exact same spot. Holy moly guys, I think this is it. This leads us to believe that plant item was Isaac supposed to have been in the game already, but wasn't announced for other reasons. As a guy who plans to main Isaac, I am ready. So the reason that this is so important, because as we can see on screen right now, in the official banner, the Little Mac picture with his left glove is actually extremely poorly cropped. Now, at first I was thinking that this was intentional, but at the same time, why would they make something that looks so bad? Obviously something else is supposed to be there, but what? So as we can see with the Isaac picture, we see that Little Mac's glove is fixed and we can see the full thing, and even though it is blurry, it does look a lot better. So once again, this does add a lot of credibility because I don't think Nintendo is going to release something like this with Little Mac's hand being cut so poorly, and instead I think they're going to release something that looks really good because a lot of people, including myself, are going to want a huge poster to hang up on their wall, and I think that crop would just annoy me. So the next piece of evidence that we are going to take a look at is actually extremely important, and you guys are going to see why soon. So this post comes from GameFAQs.com, and it is titled, Grinch Leak Basically Confirmed. It's posted by DB0D, and it starts by saying, ACL-PLV just took down their 2-year-old YouTube video showing their work environment. So they're obviously aware of the leak, but have yet to comment due to their non-disclosure act. Grinch leak confirmed. So I decided to do a little bit of digging just to make sure that it was in fact taken down, and yes, we find that this video has been removed by the user. Now you might be saying to yourself, well, there's so many reasons why they could have taken down their environment. Maybe they had something in there they didn't want to show, or maybe they were going to update it with a new one. But honestly, I don't see any other reason for them to bring down that video other than the fact that they're trying to hide their work environment so people don't blame them for the leak. As we know, the other company that was listed on Eric's LinkedIn page, MCL I believe, actually made an official statement regarding this issue and said that they had nothing to do with it and that Eric no longer worked with them as of the past 2 years. Well, ACL has not made any kind of official statement. All they've done is tried to cover this up, which is adding even more credibility. I don't think they're trying to hide this from Nintendo anymore, and I have a feeling that Nintendo is going to press charges against them, but at the same time, it is a very useful piece of information to find out that they took down their workplace environment just because their stuff got leaked. The next piece of evidence was once again sent in by one of my followers on Twitter because they wanted to me to review this post on Smashboards by this user named Skyblade12. They start by saying, so I've been thinking about the Grinch leak for a while and I'd like to break down and analyze some of it. First though, I would like to cut down on some of the flaws of the pro-Grinch argument. He's thinking 47 steps ahead and knows that both Bandai Namco and Universal Studios contract the same obscure French marketing company. We don't know that this is true. There is, as yet, no confirmation that this company contracts with either Bandai Namco or Universal Studios, let alone both. While the company he worked for a year ago did contract with Bandai Namco, the one he currently works for may or may not. Also, this argument fails to consider that Bandai Namco would not be handling publicity, Nintendo would since they are the publisher. Now, as we get to the rest of it, we need to approach the leak logically. Following Occam's razor, let's simplify things as much as possible. What must be faked in order to pull this leak? The answer is actually ridiculously simple. The only thing that needs to be faked is the Super Smash Bros. Ultimate material. Everything else can be genuine. The leak could actually have been created by someone who works for a publicity company and makes these sorts of promotional materials. The material for the Grinch could all be genuine, as could his work history with the company. As the meme says, anyone can make a fake leak, even a publicist. There does not need to be any identity theft or identity fraud for this to be faked. Not even the Snapchat aspect of it was necessarily faked. It could have been something that he sent a friend via Snapchat, never meaning for it to go further and his name to be revealed, though that would mean all of this was created to fool one or two people, which does seem rather far-fetched. The only things that needed to be faked were the actual Super Smash Bros. Ultimate materials, so let's look at them for a second. This is the image that has received the most attention, specifically the multi-panel image in the middle. This image apparently depicting a version of the battlefield background used in the mural, but with the characters removed, has been reviewed in detail by a number of artists and digital art enthusiasts, most notably Artsy Omni, whose video on the subject can be found here. I, however, am not an enthusiast or expert in digital art manipulation, nor of artistic techniques or analysis, so I will leave that to those who are. Instead, I will focus on other, less analyzed aspects of the leaked materials, which I do have experience with. Beneath the LOL emoji is what appears to be a set of display instructions for a circular hanging display. The display would contain the mural wrapped into a circle, taking advantage of the fact that the mural's edges merge seamlessly and suspended from 4 lines that converge at a single hanging point. This makes it clear that this is a display to be hung from the ceiling and that the mural image would go on the outside of it. Now here's where things get interesting. It has been pointed out by some that the mural image on this hanging display is not properly scaled and that the mural would not fit on the display as shown. Whomever has made such an argument is an individual whom I can only assume has never had to set up a retail display, or at least never actually looked at the instructions for doing so. Because as someone who has set up dozens and reviewed the instructions for probably hundreds over the course of 7 years worked in retail, I can assure you that the instructions for those displays are never properly scaled, or properly clipped, or properly angled, or properly sized, or properly representative of the space you actually have on a display to put the items that you're telling you will fit there. Or, apologies. Anyway, the point is the instruction pages that come with the display materials are designed to show you how to assemble them, how to display them, and what to put there. They are never artistically accurate, literally never. The only ones I've seen which are accurate in terms of visuals are ones which are simply pictures taken of already assembled displays, which are inferior for the purposes of showing how to assemble such displays to the simple line drawing with cutouts. The reasoning for the art being off is actually very simple. It's nothing but a placeholder, and its only purpose is to convey to you what side should face out, or to help confirm what piece you're looking for. For the sake of keeping this video short, I'm not going to read over the rest, but if you guys want to go ahead and take a look at it, you can find a link to this post in the description. However, we are going to go over the last paragraph. So after reviewing these images, the only conclusion I can come to is that this is 100% genuine. Artistic anomalies in the instructions are expected. In fact, I would honestly be shocked if they were not there. This gentleman's role in the company likely includes either review of materials or assembly of the instructions themselves. The images used were likely taken by a worker at this company, if not the gentleman in question, on a low quality camera, and jumbled and edited into place to fit the lines and serve their bare purpose of being a placeholder. They were almost assuredly not provided by Nintendo. Any artistic analysis of those pieces is utterly irrelevant to the validity of this leak. And finally, the last piece of evidence I want to take a look at comes from a user on Reddit named ItWasRaccoons. He starts by saying, I want to bring up two things about the Grinch leak that I haven't seen discussed yet, things which I think lend in favor of it being a real leak. Both of these things would have required even more effort to fake. First, a closer look at the leaked image. There's at least 2 additional bracelets. They are neatly lined up and it looks like they're wrapped in plastic packaging. You can even see a reddish area underneath the main bracelet Switch logo, suggesting there's another Switch logo hidden under the paper from another bracelet. Either this is a sheet of bracelets wrapped up and ready for distribution, or these details took even more effort for the leaker to fake. Second, remember that this leak came from a video. Take a look at the original leak consisting of 2 frames from this video. Both frames have completely different contents, no common papers at all, so the camera was obviously moving, possibly even capturing walls or other parts of this office/desk space, especially the area on the desk between these 2 frames, possibly even more things related to Smash/the Grinch or graphic design materials. If this leak is fake, then the leaker would have had to go through even more effort to make the office and desk space look like it belonged to someone working at a graphic design office that's dealing with Smash and Grinch materials. Otherwise, anyone seeing the video would be able to see and screen grab any number of other frames, and if those frames contain things like, say, someone's bed, or a desk that's completely empty besides just these few papers, then all the effort of this leak would have been debunked before it even started. Too long didn't read, there are 3 bracelets, not 1, and they are lined up and plastic wrapped. A leaker would have had to go through even more effort than we already know they did in order to make the entire video, not just a few frames we got, seem like a legitimate leak, including whatever was on the desk in between the 2 frames we have. So guys, we just went over all of this evidence supporting the Grinch leak, and so I want to hear what you guys think about it. Do you guys believe that all of this evidence proves that the Grinch leak is real, and are you happy that it is? I mean, 8 new characters, that's crazy. Let me know in the comment section down below. As always guys, thank you all so much for watching, make sure to subscribe, share, and like, and I will see you guys next time. Take care.